don't worry about how much time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about that. Just get committed and then start. The most important thing is getting out of your head and starting.
Yeah.
And then at least you can say, okay, I committed this amount of time, and then just see how that grows. And my belief is if you're contemplating doing it and you commit and you do spend some time, that will just continue to grow.
Let me ask you this question, because I'm so excited to have you here with us. And I mean, we've been together for what? You've been with us for over 2.5 years. Is it almost 3? Is it over 3?
When did we graduate? May of 24?
Okay.
Right?
May of 20.
Or 23?
Yeah, a little bit earlier. Or when did we graduate? All of it, we're just sitting here wondering.
We don't have the answers to the simplest questions.
Over 2 years, it could be 3.
Yeah. Yes.
Definitely over 2 years, but 3 years. And so give me a little bit, like, if someone were to be watching this, you know, that was in your similar position when, let's say, you met me and Kinley, what position were you in, you know, and where did you start off, you know, before digital assets, before even understanding, and then what kind of piqued your interest, and where was your mindset at?
I think I had a lot of, I think God had given me these abilities with money. I think just in general with finances, and as far as caretaking money, I think being a gift that I was just given as a kid, and my dad helped nurture that. He taught me how to save, and so and then it was always an interest of mine through you know many years. But I always thought it was completely unspiritual. In fact, I thought it was incompatible with spirituality and your relationship with God. In fact, a hindrance to it. And so, again, going to Woodland Park, meeting you and other like-minded believers at business school, that's when I really thought, oh, this thing that he's given me all of these years, it's something he's given me.
Right. A talent.
And so that really kind of changed my mind into thinking, okay, this is something that I can provide to the kingdom, and it's valuable to the kingdom. And so when I started talking to you two about the digital assets, it was a realm of investment that I had never considered. I think you and I have talked a number of times where I'm always like, oh, it's just pet rocks.
Right. So what other investments were you in before you met us?
Stocks, options, real estate.
And you were you're an avid investor in those, right?
Yeah.
And you were doing well.
Yes.
Too.
And so, however, what I've realized since is how limiting, even though I was a saver and investor, my mindset was it was not a giving mindset. It was not a kingdom mindset. It was a hoarding mindset.
Okay.
And I had an important discussion with Jeff Vanderwall. And at Wealth Builders Conference one time, and he told me that he would get anxiety, and to calm his anxiety, he would calculate his net worth.
I remember that.
His wife told him once that she found like 200 Post-it notes where he had done it over and over and over again. And so that conversation was important to me because I realized how I was doing exactly that, and
wow.
it was an idol. And so I think over the last few years with this group and just for our relationship has helped me change that mindset into a giving mindset, a kingdom mindset, a stewardship mindset.
Right.
And so that's where I have to be intentional about continuing to make sure that I cultivate that mindset,
'Cause-
because it's so easy to slip into
right.
hoarding,
And
and
you're
giving is one of the best ways to keep you from getting into that
right.
mindset. So
And
yeah.
you were successful before you came in to our group, very successful. And then after, I mean, let's talk about too, what were the challenges before you came? I mean, you were early on with us, but what were the challenges that you faced when coming into our program that you were like, maybe having to get over some limiting beliefs, that maybe it was just stocks, or what were the things that were holding you back that you had to get over to then say, I'm going to commit to myself and learn about this?
It was I had a preconceived notion about it, where you and I, in conversations between us, and I think at one time I said, hey, old people have all the money. You're going to need to convince these people that this has some value. You can't just, you know, and you were able to do that. I think the turning point was when you convinced me of its utility. And not only of its utility, but the fact that, wow, this is a utility. It falls under that category, and people love investing in electric companies and gas companies, and this is really what that was. So it was like a core financial need, and so once you convinced me of that, that's when it totally became a different. It was now I'm investing in something sound and important and meaningful that's got use, as opposed to I came into it with that mindset of, and a lot of people that I respect that have been longtime successful investors are just like, oh, that crypto is just like, it's going to be worthless. I mean,
Right.
Warren Buffett says that. And I think it was just learning that no, this is real, and this is a legitimate, and there's a lot of misunderstanding out there. And so I think that was the biggest thing.
Right.
You guys just get to a place where I finally was like, okay, that's it. Now I get this.
So coming in and understanding, after you start to understand, there's core digital assets or core cryptocurrencies that are actually providing value, providing utility at a global scale. You were convinced. Now, after coming through the Crypto Start program, what knowledge did you learn about these digital assets and these specific ones that allowed you to say, okay, I'm going to invest in this? And what did that do for you?
Well, I think part of it is the understanding the history of, I mean, even the stock market. Learning, I actually went through the dot-com bubble. I just remember how that played out, and then I just have learned. I just enjoy the history of. I know about the tulip craze,
Right.
and the automobile industry, I think, is a great example, too. And I think it was just that it wasn't me diving into the details as much as getting to a point of trust with you two that you were doing that. So once I saw how committed you guys were to the research, I didn't actually do a bunch of research on my own. Now I follow it, and I follow our community's postings.
Right.
And so I'm educating myself from that standpoint. And so really for me, less detail and more, I just pay attention now. So when I see an article in news or I hear some banking person talk, I go, oh, now I see how that's being integrated into
Right.
slowly,
It's
little by
kind of
little, that's
secondhand
actually
nature to you now to just say, oh, okay, let me look at if there's a crypto article or something or another crypto coin that comes out, you know how to evaluate it, you know how to look at it and sift through it pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
To say,
For me, it's trusting you, because in crazes or new innovations, like the automobile industry, there were 100 automobile companies. And during the dot-com bubble, there were thousands of dot-coms, and every single one of them got funded to the hill. If you said you had a dot-com, someone's going to give you money.
Right.
But yet 95% or more of those companies went belly up, because if you took the time to research those, you could find which ones are completely empty and which ones have real value. And I think that's where you guys have come in, and you've isolated the ones that really truly have value, and which ones are really nothing more than paper. There's really nothing behind them. And that takes commitment, and it takes a lot of time and effort. And so, we've had this conversation before. I don't have that amount of time and effort, and that's, the Lord doesn't have me diving into this. That's why He has you two, to where I need to be responsible for what I'm investing in, but yet I have to have you as a team member, to where you guys are pouring over, and you have relationships with individuals within the industry.
Right.
That's not, and so
you can tap into the investment because you can leverage our expertise. And so then tell me, there's assets that aren't going to do anything in the cryptocurrency space, and we are very heavy on, like you said, utility-based, value-based assets. What have these done for you since you've been invested and since you've chosen to invest? Where are you sitting at now, after going through our program and then being with us for over 2 years, we'll say? Almost 3.
Well, I think more committed to the space, for sure. And I feel like, well, we've had these conversations in our meetings too before, is we believe that the Lord has big plans. Those plans take a lot of money, and He's got to get that to us through a human form, through a worldly form. And I think that the crypto space gives the Lord the potential to flow this money to people that can be responsible with what He's given them. And I think that I've committed more and more to the space, anticipating that's giving the Lord what He needs to bless me and to bless us,
right,
to be able to be generous on every occasion.
Oh, that's awesome. And I mean, I can definitely see that's your goal, is to be able to provide, to be generous. And you've already had a lot of success in investing, so it's awesome that you've been able to say, okay, these ways have been good in real estate, in stocks, in this other direction, but what would you say the differentiator of crypto is from all those other investments that it's actually doing for you financially?
I think one is the potential. I'm traditionally a value investor, so I look for value and slow growth, slow, steady growth over time, which is successful, and it's proven. And I think the digital asset space provides the opportunity for like accelerated growth beyond what you can get from a traditional value company.
Absolutely.
So I think it provides that, the potential to outpace any other type of gain that you could expect from any other type of investment, really.
Yeah, and then since it does outpace, since being with us, have you seen that growth from being invested? Have you seen that financial growth?
Well, yeah, I think at the end of we don't know the year, I guess, that we graduated, but that spring of that year is when you started getting me invested. And I think this is a long-term, we've talked about this too. This is a long-term global shift. It's something that well, me personally, I'm certainly looking at this as a years of investing and not something
Right.
quick. Just because of the nature of it, it's something that will take time, and then it will start to accelerate in its adoption. And so I think
Right.
I definitely have a long-term perspective in it. But it just so happens that when you started me out in these investments, that they've gone up dramatically. And but yet, I know there's been some pullback recently, but I think I'm not the type of person that doesn't matter to me at all. I'm looking at the potential for it long term hasn't even really begun yet. So
Right. So what would you
that's
say?
why I'm excited about the future of it.
Yeah.
So,
And that's really the end goal for us in our group, and you hold that pretty solid, is that okay, there's an end goal, and as they'll keep appreciating, there's still a long-term goal, and you've already seen great increase, great appreciation from these assets being with us for over 2 years. And and have you seen that in the stock space before? What you've seen your assets do in crypto?
not as I guess it's much more rare. Certainly, I think if I've got usually 20 to 23 stocks, maybe 2 or 3 of those will double or triple before I'm out of that, or over a certain number of years' time. So,
In two
I mean,
years?
certainly, sorry.
Have they done that in 2 years before? I'm curious.
Well, I'll just give you an example. I think the obvious example is silver.
Oh yeah, we love silver.
But we also talk about that a lot in our space.
Yeah,
And
gold and
so,
silver, crypto, some
exactly.
private
And
equity.
so, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, certainly it is at the upper end of what I've experienced with other
Yeah, which is really
investments,
awesome.
for
And
sure.
besides financially too, because financial is amazing, and it's awesome that you've been with us for over 2 years and you're seeing that amount of increase. But other than financially, what would you say has been the biggest? And I know we talked about this a little bit at the beginning, but what would you say has been the biggest, you know, turning point for you in this group that has changed your life, not just financially, because we just heard you talk about it financially, but otherwise?
Well, purpose. It's it's aligned with my purpose. It's kind of like a great feedback loop. It's like I know what my purpose is, and when I'm in this group, it galvanizes my purpose, and it keeps me directed on my purpose. It's like I'd say that's really the biggest thing, is it helps me, it just encourages me to keep at my purpose, and we need that desperately. I think that's one thing I've learned is you can't live a Christian life and follow the Lord by yourself.
Right.
You're not supposed to do that.
Right. It'll
And
make it
so,
really hard.
so this is my space. This group is basically that's my go-to group. So
Yeah, well, we love you too, Andy. You're awesome. And that's what I love about our group, is that, I mean, you add so much value, and all the people that come in, it's what makes the group valuable. I mean, we bring a lot, and we help you guys out with a lot of different things, but ultimately surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals that are going after life, wanting to give to every good work, wanting to build wealth together, wanting to follow the laws of the kingdom, is huge, and it can accelerate where you're at. And so, just looking back hypothetically, if let's say you didn't join our group and you didn't take the Crypto Start program with us, and you said, I don't know if it's digital assets, where would you be if you didn't, well, first of all, invest in yourself through getting our program, learning, and then where would you be financially if didn't invest in digital assets? And then third, where would you be in life, if you weren't in the group? I think it's always good to kind of go back and look at the decisions.
I don't want to think about that. I really don't. Like, I don't want to think about where I would be, because it just wouldn't. It would be worse. I mean, it just. The honest answer is I don't know. I don't want to know where I
Right.
would have been. It's like
So then,
I don't.
for someone that is, struggling, wanting to get into these assets, they're kind of filling a pool to get into crypto and also take the Crypto Start program, take that first step, and know it's a commitment to themselves, and it's not just, oh, a snap of the fingers. But what would you say to them if they're, on that edge, thinking about timing, thinking about, is this really what I should be doing? Is this who I should be involved with? What would you say to that person that wants to go to the next level but is still having those questions?
Well, you do it to find out. You if you're questioning whether you should do it or not, you do it, and then you'll find out. But by not doing, you can't know that. So I just feel like I can't imagine wondering, man, should I do this or not? And that not being the right move to do it. So I think anybody that has any kind of pull in wondering if they're like, wonder if I should do this, it's because you should be doing it.
Right.
And if for some reason during that process you get a stop, like, hey, there's something, maybe this isn't for me, that's fine. But there's no risk in not starting. So
Yeah, and what have you seen with the individuals that have maybe been a little nervous, and then they come into the group, they're newer. I mean, you've been with us for a while, so 6 months, 8 months, people coming in, and then they're coming into the group, and obviously you're at a different level because you've been with us for a while. But what have you seen them gain, and how have you seen them grow?
what level am I at now?
I think you're at a level of,
A four?
you can filter very, very well. I think that's one of the hugest things that I've seen you do, is be able to filter different investments and different news, different understanding through volatility, as you're sitting at great percentages with your investments, after coming with us, and then still going through specific volatility. You're able to filter and just be like, oh no, I see where things are going. Oh, that's right, let me follow that. Oh, actually, this isn't right. And you're just so calm, even killed, wanting to continue to invest more, which is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I think as far as watching people come in, I think enthusiasm. I think of Nicholas,
Yeah.
because he kind of came in. He's kind of later than most. Just the enthusiasm. I think he kind of gets this sense of, oh, this is awesome. Like, this is what I've been missing. So it's I think that's the typical reaction to a new person coming in is, wow, this is awesome. Like, almost like, I'm glad I did this. And I think it goes back to, where you're contemplating it there's probably a good reason why you're contemplating it. And then when you make the decision and commitment to do it, I think it's enthusiasm. I think you're just like excitement. I think that's probably the biggest thing I see in new people coming in is they're excited about it.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. And then
yeah,
we have the group that just rallies around them and helps
yeah.
take them through. Yeah, so then a couple more questions here. So what level of commitment do you think you've had to, I know we talked about this a little bit before, but what level of commitment did you have to commit to this group, to the program, time-wise, heart-wise, all of the above? And then what level of passivity is it for you? Do you have to be a crypto geek? Like what level of commitment did you have to make?
Well, I always have on my goal. One of my goals is to invest more time with the group. And I think it's when you make that commitment, I think for everybody, it's a struggle to put aside other distractions and really make a commitment to, is this important? What are the most important things that I need to be focusing on? And so I have, just like most people, I have tons of time commitments to other things. And I think for me personally, it's because you two are so committed to concentrating on the space that frees me to spend less time on it. And the appropriate time, what should my time looking at digital assets, what should my time look like? And it should look different than yours. Yours is much more detailed, much more committed to producing actionable results, where mine is more of like a stewardship, enough to understand what I'm doing with the money that I've been, given responsibility over. So I want to spend more time involved, but I think that, your commitment helps me not have to be as committed as maybe if you two weren't as committed,
Right.
then I would need to be more. And so I think that's a freedom, and it goes back to the group. People share their gifts, and if somebody's gifted in something and they're doing that, then that takes it unburdens you from that chore. And so I think that's the beauty of the group. So,
Yeah. And that's what we love to do. And it's awesome to see you because it's crazy. It's like you are 100% committed. You are an awesome, group member, community member that we have. And pretty much everyone knows you in our community. And so it's awesome to see that you're committed in your heart, but it's not taking all your time. It's you're being able to be confident, execute, get the upside from all the benefits of investing in crypto, plus the upside of being in a group mindset wise, and the purpose wise, but you're not spending all your time researching, trying to make calls, like all that different stuff. So that's what I love to hear, because ultimately this is about purpose. It's about what were you called to do, and how can digital assets aid that, and then how can being around like-minded individuals, continually filling yourself up with better mindset practices, better understanding where is your tribe, where's your group going, but then living out your individual purpose and making the impact you need to make.
Something I say to ministry partners all the time is, we can't all be waiting tables, like Paul says.
Right.
Some of us have to commit to the word, but the assumption is some of us do have to wait tables. And so I talked to my ministry partners. I said, I'll wait tables. You guys do your thing, and I'll do the waiting of the tables. And in this group, you guys are the ones waiting on tables. You're the ones committing all of your time to know this space so that the rest of us can focus on what our purposes are. So it's just, that's the way I see it, is in this realm, this digital asset space, you're the experts. You're the ones that allow us to do what we need to do without having to, commit all of our time. And that's not the way the Lord works anyway. He's so efficient. He doesn't want us all duplicating efforts.
Right.
He wants us to do our thing and to rely on each other for the things that we, either don't have the talent for or the purpose for.
Right. And you came in, and yes, you're very successful in crypto, and in these specific digital assets. You've seen some great upside there from being in for 2 years, but you're still very successful in stocks and real estate and your business, and you got married. So you're successful in life. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the beautiful thing for us, is seeing that you can keep living your life. You can keep, this is just going to magnify and empower you to do that. And then you're going to get the upside of crypto as well. So I love that. And you put it beautifully. It's like, not everyone needs to be waiting the tables. And that's the beautiful thing about leveraging and using experts in the area, is you can save a lot of time, a lot of money and mistakes. And that's just what we love to help people do, while building an amazing community with individuals like you in there. So what would you say to someone? What's your last piece of advice? And obviously this is not financial advice, but in general, what is your advice for someone that maybe started in your position, was successful in stocks, real estate, but they're wondering the upside of crypto, and they're wanting to further their position, but they don't know if this is the direction they should go? What is that thing you would tell them if you were sitting with them?
If I was getting into this space, I would find the right people, which is you two. Because there's very few people that have the time or expertise or understanding to navigate the space. And I think you don't have to. So I think if you're an investor and you want to invest in a number of different things, you can't be an expert in all these things. So I would just encourage them to, one, that if they're a kingdom-minded believer, I would just say that I would just share with them that I believe it's a vehicle that the Lord wants to use to enrich His kingdom through His believers, and that they should carve out a space in their investment portfolio for this investment in this space. And if you are going to do that, to give it to entrust that to you two and the group.
Yeah, and what would you say to someone too that maybe is struggling with time wise, saying, well, I'm going to school, or I'm, running these other businesses, I'm doing these other investments, I don't know if I can do this as well. What would you say to them with the time?
Well, I would just say, one, if it's part of your purpose, I've just found this over the last number of years, is when you commit to the right things, the Lord will open up enough time and opportunity for what's important. And I just think it commit to starting the meetings. Like, we have typical Thursday meetings. Just commit to listening to the first 10 minutes. Don't commit to the whole meeting. commit to a little bit. Get on the go to the website once a week for 15 minutes. Everybody can do those little things, and then just start there, and then just see where it goes. But you can certainly commit a little bit that's what I would do. Don't worry about how much time. I mean, don't worry about that. Just get committed, and then and start. The most important thing is getting out of your head and starting.
Yeah.
And then at least you can say, okay, I committed this amount of time, and then just see how that grows. And my belief is that if you're contemplating doing it and you commit and you do spend some time, that will just continue to grow.
Yeah. Well, and I love it, Andy. I mean, you're a perfect example of that. If you do things wisely, you carve out time for specific things, you can accomplish it. I mean, you're, like we've been saying this whole time, you're an avid stock investor. You have amazing real estate portfolio. You have your business, right? And you're also married, and you have a family, and you have a life that you want to enjoy. And you also carve out time with God and for yourself. And so I think it's amazing the capability that we do have when we are able to say, okay, I'm going to take that step, because usually we doubt ourselves a little bit more up front than we should, because we're way more capable than we understand. And that's one thing I love about this market too, and I'm sure you can kind of attest to it, but it's pretty passive once you get in. You're not day trading, you're not doing all these crazy things that you have to check the markets every single day and check your portfolio and make moves. It's pretty passive once you get in, and then you just get the upside. But the one thing,
It's farming.
right,
It's farming.
right,
You're planting seeds, you're checking in on them, you're making sure they get watered, you're not doing the growing. You're stewarding, and so you're setting things up. There's a lot of work in short amount of times, and then a lot of time it is passive, where you're just literally making, checking things out and checking in on things.
That's a good example. That's a really good analogy. I like that. I haven't thought of that one before, but yeah, it really is farming.
Yeah,
So you're planning,
it is.
you're putting that work in and plowing the field and then planning, and then
But you don't do the growth.
no, you're
You just check in to make sure that everything that's needed is there, and then it grows.
wow. That's
then
a
you
good
just-
one. I like that.
Yeah.
So last question, and then we'll close it out here. I'll let you get back to what you're doing. Where do you see yourself in 3, 5 years, even 10 years with digital assets, and let's say even this group and just life?
Well, the digital assets I see as propelling me towards growing whatever God has for me. So I think He's going to use these digital assets that are in my hand to grow, and then I don't know exactly what He has in the future for me, but I know it's going to be expensive, and He's going to fund it. I fully expect that the digital asset space is how He's going to fund a lot of these things, because I think He has a sense of urgency. I just feel like the Holy Spirit has been saying that for a year, like, you need to get your house in order, because I want to do a lot of big things quickly, and I think the digital asset is He's like, hey, I may have to do some things unconventionally here, and I need to, if He needs to get His believers a lot of money in a short period of time, this is a vehicle for doing it, and that's what I expect from it. So for the next 3 to 5 years, I see that just as a source to believers to bless the work of our hands and to move us to where He wants us to be. So his plan, I think he's going to use it for his plans through us.
I love
And so
that.
that's the, yeah, that's where I see it. That's where I see
Right.
him utilizing that space.
I love that because, I mean, we love all different types of investments. I mean, we love real estate. We talk about gold and silver a lot in the group as well. And then obviously our niche is crypto, but I do think crypto is the accelerator. It's like, okay, I'm going to use this. God's saying, like, I'm going to use this to accelerate your purpose. You can put things here, and it's not just going to be slower, maybe consistent growth. It's going to be accelerated. But you obviously want to have those other investments as well, or whatever your other things are too. So I love that because it's kind of like the boost to your purpose. I mean, if you're living your purpose and you have this track, it's like kind of backing it with cryptocurrency with specific digital assets is almost like, all right, let's fast track this. And I feel the same way. I think the Holy Spirit, God has been talking about urgency, and even for us, urgency of, you can't just sit and have your same group. You need to get this stuff out to people. You need to expose this to the people that need this. And so that's now our urgency of, okay, I can't be playing around. Like I have to get this to the people that are wanting this.
For those of us that have been successful in a certain area, our mindset is to just keep at it and doing that same thing. And I think the one thing that Holy Spirit has had at least one experience with this, and I talked to your dad about it because he's heard the same thing, which is, hey, that'll work. What you're thinking about investing in and going for, it's going to work. But that's not what I want. I want to do this new thing.
Yeah.
And this crypto space is one of the new things.
Right.
So that's the way I see it.
That's good. And yeah, we talk about that a lot, but it's, you can have a mindset and an idea of, okay, this has worked for me before. And maybe even, over here is the highest ROI. But what is God really calling you to do? Maybe he's stepping you out into a new area of investing that on paper, maybe it doesn't look as safe or as profitable or as, or even an endeavor that might not look as attractive. But then there's this pool. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, he did this to me this year within business. And he's like, if you keep doing this and what I've called you to do, then I'm going to grow you over the years more than you understand. Everywhere, my mind, my heart, financially. But if I go and do things that are more attractive of what I kind of wanted to do, even, and that might make more, he was like, that might look good in the short term, but on the long run, you're going to miss out on quite a few things I've had for you. So yeah, I think you can't just look at it as like on paper, the highest ROI or the easiest thing or the thing that you've been most comfortable with. It has to be, where do you really need to go? What do you need to step out into? So
yeah, exactly. That comfort zone where it's just like, I know this works. Just like when the disciples went back to fishing.
Right.
There's like, hey, that's our comfort zone. That's what we know. And that's not necessarily where he wants you. So
So how would you detect, and sorry, I keep asking you questions, but one more, how would you help someone detect if they're just going back to their comfort zone, not wanting to step out into a new asset class, into maybe learning something new, stretching themselves, investing in themselves, or whether their peace is there or not? Because I know sometimes that's a hard differentiator for us is, do I just not have peace doing this, or am I really just, letting my comfort zone suck me back in and not taking that step to actually grow?
This is not a good I probably can't answer that question very well. This is my biggest point of struggle. And there's two themes. You hear people say, "Oh, well, go with your peace. Go where peace is." But then I hear Billy's talking about when you're approaching the sound barrier, everything's shaking like crazy, and until you punch through it, you don't feel that peace. So it's like, is peace really? Peace can be deceptive. Is it peace, or am I slipping back into comfort, which feels like peace? So what's the real peace? That's the biggest thing. That's a big thing I struggle with is, and I think I think what I've been doing is, if I think I should be doing something, I do it until I hear otherwise, until I hear stop. So I think I'm like, I think I'm supposed to be doing this. So then I just go in that direction.
That's good.
And because what do you have to lose? It's like, if you think you're probably supposed to be going in a certain direction, what does it hurt to go there? Especially if you have the mindset of obedience. If you're like, I think God wants me to do this, well, He's going to honor that. If you're going the direction you think because you think that's what He wants, He knows
Right.
He knows your thoughts.
That's good.
So I think you move in that direction until you hear the Lord come out and say, "Hey, that's not what I wanted you to do."
Well, and that's really good, because it does remind me of when, you started with us, because you weren't 100% at peace, I guess you could say, or you weren't comfortable whatsoever, but you were saying, I see something, you girls have something that I need, kind of. But you weren't at peace, I remember, and you weren't very comfortable stepping into it. But it almost like clicked. What you're saying is like, if I know that this is something that can benefit me and my purpose, and there are specific pieces of the puzzle that I can see, you just took that step. And as you kept going, I think you gained peace and comfortability. And that's one thing that I think successful individuals do. It's what I've done in my life as well, is it's not always comfortable to take the step. It's not always the thing you want to do, but it's the thing that gets you to that next level. And now look, 2-3 years later, you're still with us. You've grown tremendously financially. You've grown tremendously in your mindset. You've been a key pillar to our group as well. And I mean, it's amazing to see what one step can do.
Yeah.
Even when you don't have all that comfort or familiar.
It's true. One theme that you see in the Bible is the blessing and the anointing are where He wants you to go, not where you are now. So you have to take the step, and then you step into the blessing that He has. So that's why I think so many of us think, well, I'm going to wait till I get this blessing or this peace or this anointing first before I take the step of obedience. And I think it's, look, I'm going to do that. You have to commit to saying, I'm going to do this because I think that's what He wants me to do, period. And forget how you feel about it.
Yeah.
And I think what you find is when you take that step, then that's when the confirmation comes that, this was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It comes after, it's not before.
Absolutely. And I think that's where faith can really work, because you're saying, okay, I'm hearing this, I'm feeling this, but I'm not feeling fully comfortable. But as you take that step, that's where you learn, that's where you grow. And, even outside of the Bible, outside of, let's say, just hearing God, just in science and in facts, it's like the more decisive people, even if they fail, they take a step and they fail fast. And then that way they can get up and go in the direction they need to go. And I hear this from successful people, but it's like, I'd rather fail and fail fast and then get up and go in a different direction and learn from that than stay stagnant my whole life and
Yeah.
question, should I have? Should I have? Like a lot of Bitcoiners, you know, that wanted to invest back in 2014, 2012. I mean, I know you've had a bunch of people that have said, oh, well, someone told me to invest back then and I should have, but I didn't, and now I missed out. But there's similar and same, maybe even greater opportunities now. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you, Andy. You're amazing. You're such a blessing to our community and our group. We absolutely love having you with us. And I'm really appreciative that you were able to share your story today. I know it's going to help other individuals that started right where you started and are on that same journey. And so we really appreciate you, and
thank you.
just glad for this
It's
conversation.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's I just looking forward to the future with this group and you two, and it's been amazing, and it's just getting better.
Yes.
So.